Okay, let's just jump right into this. We've got a really bizarre starting point for this deep dive, and it pretty much flies in the face of, well, every health article you've ever skimmed.
Yeah.
What if the one food you have been absolutely hammered to avoid, the dietary villain, is actually the single most powerful health food on the planet?
We are talking about the ultimate paradox in conventional wisdom.
Yeah.
I mean, you say this, and people immediately clutch their pearls because we're talking about, well, the thing they label a dirty protein.
Oh, for sure. The carcinogen, the
Yeah.
thing that supposedly causes heart disease, colon cancer, type 2 diabetes, all because of the big, scary, saturated fat bogeyman.
Exactly.
But today, our mission is to cut through all of that noise. We're going deep into some of the ignored information and make the case for why the number one superfood isn't some fancy, expensive green powder.
Right. From some startup in LA.
Yeah, it's high-quality, grass-fed red meat. We're looking in the complete opposite direction of what everyone else is telling you.
And let's start with that competition, just to be fair. The green powder myth. You open up one of those canisters, and yeah, you are getting some good things. You're getting vitamin C, K1, beta-carotene, some minerals like magnesium, potassium. They have phytonutrients, which are valuable.
I'll grant them the phytonutrients, absolutely. But here is the problem. And it's so basic. It's like Diet 101, but it's so critical. When you try to live on these powders, what's the one massive, glaring missing piece?
High-quality, complete protein.
Yes. I know so many people who've tried this and they have that constant nagging feeling of just being hungry.
Yeah.
All the time.
Well, yeah, because it's incomplete food. And we look beyond just the protein. There are also, bioavailability challenges and high levels of anti-nutrients in some of those greens that make it even harder for your body to absorb the good stuff.
So even the good stuff isn't getting in.
Sometimes, yeah. But compare that incompleteness to just the sheer nutritional density of red meat.
Oh.
It's not even a contest.
It's a complete package, a comprehensive one. You get all the essential amino acids, all the B vitamins, most of the fat-soluble vitamins. And for anyone who struggles with, like, chronic fatigue or anemia,
That's a game changer.
the density of bioavailable iron, selenium, zinc, it's a powerhouse that vegetables just can't touch.
And what's really fascinating is that red meat also delivers these critical antioxidants people just totally overlook, like carnosine.
Carnosine, what does that do?
Its job is so important. It helps prevent something called glycation, which is basically where sugar molecules stick to proteins and create this sticky, damaging mess inside your body.
So it stops everything from getting gummed up.
That's a great way to put it, yeah. And it also boosts glutathione, which is your body's master detox antioxidant.
Okay, now we have to address the elephant in the room, cancer claim. We hear constantly, meat is a carcinogen. So how do we separate high-quality meat from, the stuff sold in tubes?
That is the big analytical flaw we need to talk about. There is, and I mean this, zero evidence that grass-fed, unprocessed red meat causes cancer or heart attacks.
So where does the claim come from?
It usually stems from these big observational studies that use like self-reported questionnaires, and they just lump everything together.
You mean someone writes down they had a bacon cheeseburger, and someone else writes down they had a grass-fed steak, and it all just goes into the red meat bucket?
Precisely. It's a broad statistical conclusion that just completely hides the actual mechanism of risk. The problem is usually the processing, the nitrates, the junk, not the protein source itself.
Okay, that makes sense. Let's shift from what's in it to what it does, the functional magic. The reason I personally found this so interesting was the brain fog. That, inability to really wake up, that sluggish feeling mid-morning. It felt like I was on a constant sugar roller coaster.
And that feeling, it's rooted in a hormonal imbalance. We all know that insulin, which gets triggered by high carbs, can create all sorts of issues when it's constantly elevated.
Right. So if carbs are spiking insulin, what's the counter move? What's the thing this super dense protein does to keep us stable? That's the hormonal balancing act we need.
That is where we meet glucagon.
Glucagon.
Yeah. High-quality protein triggers the release of glucagon, and this hormone is absolutely essential because it actively counters the negative effects of insulin. It keeps your blood sugar stabilized and smooth.
But wait, I've heard that any protein can slightly raise insulin too. How does that work if we're trying to keep things stable?
That's the nuance the glucagon mechanism solves. So yes, protein might cause a tiny insulin bump, but the simultaneous release of glucagon provides the counter signal that maintains the balance. It prevents those sharp crashes and Well, the brain fog you were talking about.
That immediately changes how you think about it. If you're feeling dizzy from low blood sugar, the worst thing you could do is grab a candy bar.
You're just throwing gasoline on the insulin fire.
The actual solution is to eat high-quality protein because it actively helps stabilize that blood sugar through glucagon.
And this really highlights the problem with what I call the boxed food trap. You look at those cheap processed protein bars or ready meals, they're either super low in actual protein or they use these low-quality isolates, like soy protein isolates.
They hit the numbers on the label, but that's it.
Exactly. They deliver zero hormonal benefit and incomplete building blocks. It's basically a lie in a protein bar wrapper.
So if protein is keeping the daily energy machine running smoothly, let's look at how fundamental it is to the body's long-term architecture, the actual structure.
It's the foundational material for almost everything. I mean, think about collagen. 30 to 35% of all the protein in your entire body is collagen. That's your structural integrity.
So that's your tendons, your ligaments, all that connective tissue. This web they call fascia.
The body's internal wetsuit. Yeah, it holds everything in place.
A wetsuit, I like that.
And your bones. Your bones are 90% collagen. Then you have every single active function. All your hormones, all your neurotransmitters, the things that let you think and feel, your immune cells, antibodies, all your enzymes.
How many enzymes are we talking about?
Over 74,000 different types, all doing specific jobs. And every single one is a protein.
Wow. Okay, now here's a critical safety net the body has, and this is where low-quality diets get really dangerous. Gluconeogenesis. What is that, and why does protein matter for it?
So gluconeogenesis is the body's emergency manufacturing system. It mostly happens in your liver. And it's the process of creating new glucose, which some tissues, like parts of your brain, absolutely require out of non-carb sources.
Mainly amino acids from protein.
Exactly.
So what happens to your muscles if you're chronically under-eating high-quality protein?
Your body has to get those amino acids from somewhere, so it taps into its biggest reserve tank.
Yep.
And that reserve tank is your muscle tissue. The danger of low protein isn't just low energy, it's actual muscle loss. Your body starts cannibalizing its own structure to keep the lights on.
And red meat is packed with specific amino acids to help stop that, right? I'm thinking of things like taurine.
Yes, taurine is crucial, helps prevent high blood pressure, and maybe most importantly, red meat delivers maximum leucine.
Leucine?
Leucine is the single most important amino acid for flipping the switch on muscle protein synthesis. It's the trigger.
And we can't talk about maintenance without talking about autophagy?
Right. Your body's incredible internal recycling program. It breaks down old, damaged cells and reuses the parts.
So if you're recycling old stuff, does the quality of new stuff coming in really matter that much?
It matters completely. Autophagy provides the construction site, but the quality of the new building depends entirely on the quality of the new materials you're eating. Red meat provides the best, most diverse ingredients to make sure the new cells are stronger than the old ones.
Okay, let's pivot to the behavioral side of this because this explains so much about why we get stuck overeating. It's called the protein leverage hypothesis.
This is a fundamental biological drive. All animals, from insects to us, will keep eating until they satisfy their protein requirement. It's a quota system.
I love the horse story for this. You put a horse on that rich spring, grass, tons of easy carbs, but not much protein. And what happens?
They get fat, they get insulin resistant, they just keep eating way past their calorie needs because their body is still screaming for that protein quota. And that is basically the human condition with modern processed food.
So true. And protein has another advantage, right? The thermogenic effect.
Yeah, your body literally burns more calories just
Yeah.
processing protein than it does for fat or carbs. It takes more energy to break down those complex amino acid chains.
And for anyone who's physically active, red meat versus white meat, there's a clear winner there too.
Oh, for sure. Red meat has far more myoglobin. That's the protein that carries oxygen inside the muscle tissue itself. More myoglobin means better endurance, better recovery, better performance overall.
And finally, let's just appreciate the biological magic that creates all this. The cow's secret power.
It's an incredible hack. Cows, sheep, goats, they are master nutrient concentrators because they figured out how to eat grass, which we can't digest, and turn it into this incredibly dense food.
But they can't digest the fiber themselves, so they outsource the job.
Exactly. They have multiple stomachs, this huge internal fermentation vat filled with microbes. The microbes have the enzymes to break down the fiber. And here's the best part. It's almost comedic.
What's that?
The cow provides the home, the microbes do all the hard work, and when the microbes die, the cow just digests them.
Yeah.
It's basically eating its tiny, dead workers as a super efficient, self-renewing protein source.
That is the most amazing food processing plant in nature, and we get all that concentrated nutrition.
So the core takeaway here is pretty clear. Red meat, especially high-quality, grass-fed red meat, it really stands at the top of the food pyramid. It supports almost every function, from stable blood sugar to your immune system to athletic performance.
It's the king, just disguised as the villain. And I think this leaves us with a provocative thought for you to chew on. If we are biologically hardwired to keep eating until our body gets the protein it needs, what does that say about our modern food supply? Could the secret to solving the epidemic of overeating and chronic disease be as simple as changing our focus, moving away from just counting calories and instead maximizing the quality and density of our protein?